unfortunate not here to answer any questions tonight. Who's on the hot seat? Let's-
They changed the way we're doing this. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, good evening, everyone. At this time, we're going to call the Town of Mangonia Park Town Council meeting of September 3rd, 2024. The session, roll call, please.
Mayor Alden,
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
I'm here.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb,
Here.
Councilmember Davis Quince,
Here.
and Councilmember McConnell.
Here.
Thank you so much. We have our full body. At this time, we're going to stand for invocation.
Lord, as we gather here today, mighty God, I thank you for bringing us in this beautiful town of Mangonia Park where we come together to unite and make decisions on behalf of our residents, our lovely taxpayers. Lord, I pray everything that we do tonight in your honor and your glory as we continue to make decisions for our town. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen. All righty, our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. So at this time, we'll attend to our agenda. And just before we do, for those who may be online, feel free. Of course, this is a public meeting. If you have any questions or comments as we go along, just let us know, and we'll allow for that little lapse of time, and we'll be more than happy to address any questions or comments you may have. So at this point in time, as it relates to our agenda, are there any additions, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda?
None from staff, sir.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
So,
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
second.
Has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It is carried. And generally, for items that are annotated with an asterisk, would be on for our consent agenda. Are there any items on the agenda to be considered for the consent agenda?
None from staff, sir.
Thank you so much. So with that, we'll move on in our agenda. We're now at Palm Beach County League of Cities. Item 5. So at this time, Amity?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a calendaring reminder, the next Palm Beach County League of Cities meeting is September 25th. This month, it's at the American German Club, which is at 511 Lantana Road in Lake Worth Beach, Florida, 33463. The speaker will be Joseph Abruzzo. He's the Palm Beach County Clerk and Comptroller. He will be speaking, the title of his presentation is Working with Your Clerk and Comptroller to Help Your Residents. So again, I'm not sure that I've actually been to that space, so be sure to RSVP because I'm not sure the size of it. So if you want to attend, make sure you go with Manager Metcalf to RSVP. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks so much. Any questions or comments for Amity? If not, we'll move on to our agenda. Our next item to be attended to is item 7A. This is consideration for the approval of a fence repair contract for the Adiel Green Park located at 1233 53rd Street, Mangonia Park. Ken?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, this item was before you a couple of meetings ago, and staff received direction from council to go back to the contractors and have them update their bids to reflect black vinyl coating fencing instead of just the regular chain link. So we went back to all three that had proposed previously, and two replied back in a timely manner. And so the two that we have in front of you would be Fencing Florida. Their quote is for $10,802, and George Garcia Fencing, $11,910. And Mr. Mayor, we've used both of these companies. They're both very good. We would recommend Fencing Florida because of their lower price.
Thank you so much. And you do have the information before you as a council, and a recommendation from staff is that we go with Fencing
Florida.
Fencing Florida.
Yes, sir.
So at this time, the floor is open for any questions or the dais is now open for any questions or comments you may have. Any questions or comments regarding the proposals?
And Mr. Mayor, I might add, just so council will know, this is just for the front of the park along the parking lot.
Thank you so much. Okay, if there's no questions or comments, of course, we may have had full discussion at the last meeting, and we had a preference, as opposed to the regular chain link, that we go with the coating, which is what we have in front of us now. So if there's no other questions or comments, and at this point in time, we'll entertain a motion. A recommendation has come from staff that we go with Florida Fencing for $10,000.
800,
Fencing Florida
800
for
Fencing
$10,000.
802.
$802.
Thank you.
Find the file in place here. So that's a recommendation. Is there a motion to codify that recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I will motion that we approve the contract for fence repair for the Attic Green Park be awarded to Fencing Florida at the price of $10,802.
I second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quinn.
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell.
yes,
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
And Mayor Albert.
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. Our next item is item 7B. This is a consideration for the approval of a landscape beautification project contract for the 45th Street and Australian Avenue corridor. That should include the welcome signs and such. So at this time, Ken?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Town Council, this item's been before you a couple of times, and we've had good discussion. So in your packet are two proposals, one from Augustine Landscaping Incorporated for $8,500, and the other from Shop Tropicals, also known as Flow-Rise, for $16,840. So there's been a lot of discussion, and the staff recommendation would actually be that we go for the higher price proposal, which is Shop Tropicals, $16,840. You may recall that in your budget for this current year, you had $60,000 budgeted for beautification, and so both of these are well under that. That leaves you some room during this month to do some other things if you desire, but the recommendation would be for Shop Tropicals, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. At this time, are there any questions or comments?
yes. I would like to ask, when would this project start if we approve this budget tonight?
So I believe he is capable, well, I think both of them are capable of starting within the next 2 weeks. So we would want them to be finished by the end of the month.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments from council?
I just appreciate the details that are given from Shop Tropical that really give a good outline of the work that will be done and the quality of work can be pretty much assumed compared to the display, what they've given us. So I think it would be a valuable decision to go with a more quality proposal that can give us the best beautification looks.
All right. All right. Other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, and again, we've had sufficient conversation, I would imagine. We've talked about it in full detail, so we had full conversation. If there's nothing else to add or any other comments? If not, a recommendation has come that we go with the proposal.
Shop Tropicals for $16,840.
Okay, that is a recommendation from staff. What is your pleasure as a council? Motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, so approve Shop Tropicals for $16,840.
Second?
Motion has been made and has been properly seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quinn.
Yes,
Councilmember McConnell.
yes,
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
And Mayor Albert.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. All right, next item is
I did have a comment, I failed to make it. May I?
on the council comments, maybe?
Vice-
Yeah, we've actually voted. Will it change the motion?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to comment on the quality of training that's available to the staff. It's also been identified from Shop Tropical.
Correct.
And
Yes.
that is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to that being carried out, as well as a recommendation for the water tank and how to proper care for the plants.
And on that note, the water tank is probably going to be about $2,500, and Shop Tropicals, they've sent in a chart of recommended waterings and how often and how much and all that, so we'll have some good instruction before we get started.
Great.
Okay. All righty, thanks so much. Our next item is item 7C, and this is a consideration for the approval of a cameras and license plate reader, LPR's initiative for various locations throughout the town of Magonia Park. And I'll start with Ken, and I just want to acknowledge that the captain is here and probably have some information, as well as Major
Yes,
Martino,
backup.
as well as our dear, beloved, and let's say all that we can, for reason that I'll tell you guys later, Galati.
Just gonna-
Okay, we love you, so, and thank you guys so much for attending, we appreciate it. Ken, you want to start us off?
Yes, sir. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, this is yet another item that's been in front of us, and the direction from council to staff was to go back and bring back a quote for LPRs and fine-tune that a little bit. So what we have here tonight, and the captain is going to be able to answer most of your questions, I'm sure. So the recommendation tonight from staff, and I know you'll have a lot of questions, is to go with the 5 LPRs from Flock Safety for $19,150. That's installation and the service fee. And of course, the recurring annual fee of $17,000. In addition to the 5 LPRs, we're asking that council approve 2, what I just call regular cameras, like we have currently, at 2 locations in town, and the cost of that would be $6,091. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and of course, the captain's here as well.
Thank you so much, we appreciate it. So we'll see if there's any information the captain wants to place before us prior to any questions we have from the dais. Okay, I think so.
Yeah, I have a question.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening.
Vice Mayor,
Good evening.
members of the council, and all of you in your esteemed places. Just briefly, I agree with the town manager's recommendation.
Okay. All righty. Okay, so with that, any questions or comments for staff and/or for PBSO? Any questions or comments?
Yes, did we agree on 5 on last time, or we agreed on 4?
The conversation, and correct me if I misstated, the conversation initially began with just LPRs that were camera enabled.
Right.
Then, of course, the captain informed us that they didn't have the availability and would have taken some time, and we have sort of an immediate initiative. And so we did task him with just bringing back the cost of just LPRs instead that did not have the cameras. And then sort of also to sort of buttress what we're trying to do, some additional standalone cameras as well. So we have the 5 LPRs as a proposal before us, as well as the 2 cameras that we'll have stationed in certain locations within the town.
So it's 5.
So
Okay,
5
and the 2
LPRs
cameras.
and 2 cameras. So 7 items altogether.
Okay, because I
Okay.
thought we had talked about 4 LPRs. And until the cameras was ready, but it's okay. I mean, whatever we all agree on.
Okay.
If I may, yes, you're correct. We did initially speak about 4 LPRs, but with the money that you'll be saving by not going to those cameras, that 5th LPR will absolutely put a net around every entrance and exit in the town of Montgomery Park.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, a good question. Any other questions? or comments?
What is hardwired and what is solar? Are they all solar or some of them hardwired?
No, the cameras will be on a trailer. And the cameras will have their own power. And the LPRs will be solar. So basically, nothing will be hardwired. The cameras are actually mobile, so we can put those cameras where we need to.
You can move.
Yes, sir.
And again, if I may, Mr. Mayor, we're talking, the cameras, the 2 cameras are mobile.
And I might point out that you currently have this system in place now, so that'll tap into your current system. And I'm confident that our units will have the capability to tap into those systems for not only readback purposes, but also live feed as well.
Okay. That's where I was gonna be going, because I know there was some concern about the ability to read or view the recordings.
Yes.
So that was my concern, I was waiting for that clarification.
So
So
I'm
now,
confident,
now you've been able to clinch
I'm confident that we
a
have
path for
that,
that.
have that lick at a significant cost savings to the town.
McConnell, I'm sorry, you had something?
When we talked about this the last time, you brought up that your officers had to come here to get the information off our cameras. Are you gonna have the ability to get that yourself, you know, without
From my
without having to come to the town hall?
Well, from my
And-
conversation with the vendor today, as well as our OTU unit, once those two put their minds together, we should be able to access them either from the laptops or even from here. So I'm confident that we'll be
So
able
you-
to access them at any time, 24/7.
So look at it this way, if the patrolman can bring that in on his laptop or whatever he's got in his cruiser,
Yeah, he should be able to access it from his laptop at any time.
yeah, that,
Yeah, that was something.
okay.
Okay, Councilwoman Davis?
By any chance, is that camera similar to the one like by Walgreens? Walgreens, right here in Congress, they have one, it looks like it's mobile, you can move it around. Is it that type of camera?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the Walgreens camera, but I'm confident that this particular camera, these particular cameras are what we're looking for, and this is why I was so cautious with, when we spoke last time. So with those capabilities, I think that the town, and I think we'll be happy with these cameras.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Captain, the 5 locations for the license plate readers would be?
It will surround the borders up to town. So any vehicle entering or exiting the town will be able to pick up on the LPR. And the LPR takes a picture of basically the entire vehicle, including the tag. So we'll be able to get that information, and we'll be able to trace that vehicle if that vehicle's tied to a crime.
And of course, the LPRs are still photos.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay, other questions or comments? Or-
One other one.
I did too.
Something else came up about are any of the cameras or the LPRs, are they gonna be working with Revere and West Palm Beach?
The flock system, you will basically, under the flock system, just about every municipality in the north area of the county, including West Palm Beach, that I know of personally, have the flock system. So that would tie us into not just here, but Riviera, all the way up to Jupiter, Tequesta, North Palm, all of those municipalities have switched to the flock system. And
Can you explain how that works?
okay, I don't know if you remember at last council meeting when I stepped out, we actually had a hit on the tag. And we wound up making an arrest based upon the LPR hit that you have right out here. So basically, let's say that a car is stolen, or let's say that a car is tied to a crime. we have that vehicle information, and it would be even more helpful if we had tag information. So you could go back and you could review stuff that happened within that time frame, and if a vehicle entered or exited that particular area, and that alert can be sent out, and let's say that vehicle has ABC 123 tag number, Florida tag, it run past an LPR, alert will go out. And so once that alert goes out, vehicles within that proximity will be able to track and eventually capture that vehicle.
Okay. Other questions or comments?
Yes, I do see there is a annual reoccurring 1 year after the installation fee, and that would be annual, that amount every year
Yes, ma'am.
recur. Is there some type of a update that is included in that?
From what I understand, Flock takes care of everything, if I read the email correct. So as far as SD cards or any of that stuff, you don't have to cover, they cover all of that. So that is to cover your expenses that if you had just standalone cameras like these other ones that we're talking about, those are not going to cost you 17 grand a year. They're not LPRs.
Right.
And let me just point out, because I know there was some confusion last time, LPR units are not cameras.
Okay. My question about the cameras, since these are both together in your proposal, even though they're two different providers. The cameras, is there any ongoing service agreement required for their use and maintenance and upkeep and update and all that stuff?
You are currently using this system now at your town hall. So whatever you have going on now, it's just, from what I understand, not only are you getting those, there's additional cameras that he has that can actually search the entire perimeter of the town hall itself. And from what I understand, that's not going to cost you anything additionally either. So, so you're already using this particular vendor. Now, the only thing that I was concerned about with this particular vendor was, would we be able to have access in real time? Or is this something that we will have to come back a day or two later to review after this person has such a head start on this? So, based upon the information that I've received, I think this would probably be the best option for you.
Okay, my question was for upkeep, maintenance, and continuation. I mean, I know the Flock has annual upkeep. I just want to know if the cameras have that option in it. That's what I just wanted to make. You're saying it's the same plan that we already have,
Yes.
just adding to
Yes, ma'am.
that plan? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. He's very responsive, and he's been really good about replacing anything that needed to be replaced, and typically, there's no charge to that. He is very responsive.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Captain, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I wanted to know, what's the first price?
The first price,
Yeah.
the first proposal that you got from
No,
Flock?
for the Beard Club. For the Beard Club, who gets first price? What is the first price?
You got me lost.
She jumped to
I
another,
can't answer
another
that.
project.
Ken?
yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
we'll come back to
Totally
it.
different project.
Yeah, we'll come back to it under council comments. All righty.
I was trying to break the ice.
Maybe
Too
you
many
wanna
dollar
try that?
signs, man.
Okay. All righty. So under council comments, we'll revisit it. So anything related to here? Council?
I'm good.
Okay. All righty. Any other questions or comments from council?
I guess I just wanted to make sure I'm clear on this. We have two prices, one for, on contact and then annual recurring. This is just a 2-year figure, and the continuation will be just the annual recurring,
Yes.
and that can be limitless as how often we can
I'm sorry. can
Is
you-
that, the reoccurring, is that limitless? It doesn't say how many times we can,
That is something that you would have to review with the town attorney and with the vendor.
okay, all right. So I think we do need to clarify that as well.
And if I understand, I think the import of the question, and the last time the presentation came, was that basically, I guess in a generic way, this is, the 17,000 is a maintenance agreement, if you will. It covers everything, from what I understand. So once the purchase of it, of course, is the 19,150, and the purchase and installation is the 1950, 19,150. Then every year thereafter, that
It's a
17 grand
reoccurring.
is for maintenance and repairs and new software updates and everything else, so we don't have to do anything. From what I understand when I read the agreement initially, they're responsible at that point in time for the total maintenance of those units.
Now, whether or not anything changes with that, I can't, but that's, you have before you your initial cost, and then after 1 year, that is supposed to be your reoccurring cost. Now, whether there'll be something if there's an additional contract that needs to be reviewed, that's something that the attorney and the vendor would have to review. But from what I gather, from what you have, that was what I was given. So based upon that, that is your initial and your recurring cost, and that includes your maintenance, your storage, and our ability to access the system.
Okay, ready? Now, do we know, does this cost include our current LPRs as well, you know? Since it's the same company?
No, that's actually not the same.
It's a different company? So
So-
the ones we had before is from a
And-
different company?
We're taking care of that one now.
Oh,
So
okay. You shouldn't have told me that. Okay.
that was a grant, so.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I like free, you know. So.
I love free too. That's why I tried to steer you in that direction, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, all right, not a problem. Okay, thanks, I appreciate it. So it's, okay, separate, okay, not a problem. And of course, so that we're very clear what we're voting as well, and then the two cameras, of course, is a different company.
Yes, sir.
And I don't see any reason why. I know generally there's partitions put in place by the IT person, so as to prevent things, but you are the contracted vendor, provider, if you will, for our law enforcement, so I don't see any reason why there wouldn't. We captured this information in order to do what? Provide public safety, which you're charged with doing, so that's not an issue. I don't perceive that as an issue at all. It hasn't been as, okay.
Not going to be
Okay.
a problem.
All right, and if so, then if there's an action we need to take, we'll do that, but I don't perceive it as being an issue. That shared information that needs to be shared, so, okay. All righty, any other questions or comments on this item?
So right now, tonight, we're approving the 19,150.
So the-
6,000.
Mr. Mayor,
Are we
the,
doing the 36?
Is the whole contract includes, and correct me if I misunderstand, is for the purchase, installation, and we also have to pay the first year contract
correct.
for the total of 36,150.
That's correct, and we're also recommending that we go with the two portable cameras from NetView. So two separate companies, but the recommendation is for both.
Okay. Righty, any other questions needed?
Well, that pretty much clarifies what I was asking. The 17,000 for the reoccurring year is being included in the proposal, but is that, I guess I'm trying to clarify, is that full payment required with this proposal is what I'm asking?
Vice Mayor, the way that it reads is that you would pay the 19 at the signing, and then the 17 is due 1 year after. That's the way that I
And
interpreted
that's the
that.
way I understand it.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure it was clear and for the
Your,
record.
your total price is 36,150. At the time you sign the contract, you're due 19,150. At the end of the first year, then you're due 17,000. And the attorney can jump in if I'm off base with that.
To the credit of the vice mayor, it's a little less than clear, I think, in the
Okay.
proposal. I do agree with the captain, though, and how he's reading that. I think they've flagged for you the 17,000 for years after year one. As I read between pages 1 and 2 here, I think that's correct.
Okay.
And obviously, as is always the case, the town will prepare its standard contract, which will clarify that. And if there's any issue from the vendor side, when we provide our contract, provide them with our contract, I should say, we'll know of that and we'll bring it back to you if there's any issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Ready? Other questions? Very, very good question, and we need to know that information, so thanks. Certainly good question. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All righty, and just for our audience, of course, we've discussed this thoroughly. I just want to make sure that we provide the safety that we need for our residents and our businesses. So with that, if there's no other questions or comments?
This is great.
Okay. All righty, hearing none, motion, please.
Okay, I guess,
Before you make the motion, I just want clarification. The way that it's set up on the agenda, I put both of them under one item, but they're two separate motions, correct? They're two separate contracts,
Correct.
two different vendors completely.
They
should be
can-
separated on the agenda.
They can be done by one motion if the desire of the council is to proceed with both vendors. They'll be separate contracts, but they can be done by one motion. That's sufficient.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. With that. So with that, is there a motion as it relates to flock safety for 19150 and net view for $6,091? Is there such a motion?
I so move that we proceed with the approval of purchase of the LPRs at the designated flood safety price, and also the new view cameras, $6,091.
Okay.
I think I'm hesitating because should this motion indicate the 36 or the 19? That's what I was just hesitating on.
The 1915 covers the first year. The contract will be written in a way that any renewal will be at the 17,000.
Okay.
That typically is done by mutual agreement, some kind of addendum that both the town signs and also the vendor.
Okay.
So your 1915 is sufficient for the motion.
Okay.
That's always an option in the renewal.
Okay, then I remain with the 19,150.
Okay. Righty. So motion has been made that we approve the proposal for flock safety for the 5 LPRs in the amount of $19,150, as well as the net view cameras at $6,091. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded. And for clarification of the motion, I think McConnell would be standing on the record as the seconder.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. So with that, any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Buchanan Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Davis Quint?
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
And Mayor Older?
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Thank you so much, and thanks again, and really appreciate it. So at this time, we're now going to open the floor to public comment. We're at that point in time in our agenda for public comment. Any comment from the public, as well as those who may be online with us? All right, and seeing, hearing that there is no comment from the public, we'll close the floor to public comment. We'll now go to our reports. Ken?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, briefly, just one announcement, and then I'll defer everything else to the weekly manager's report. So a reminder, September 18th, 5:45, that's our next budget hearing. And September 19th, from 3 until 7 p.m. at the Community Center is our second annual housing fair. So we're putting together some good stuff for that, so we hope to see you there. Otherwise, that's my report.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments for Ken? If not, we'll go to PBSO. And again, for the record, we have Captain Thomas, as well as Major Martino and Detective Galati, so whomever. Appreciate you guys attending, we really do.
Thank you.
Good evening once again.
Good evening.
You have before you the weekly report. Are there any questions regarding our weekly?
Just in reviewing it, the few things that sort of ended up in town has been cleared,
Clear by
which
arrest.
is good. Okay. Great.
Business is taken care of. Case in that.
Mr. Mayor, may I have 1 minute?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Excuse me, sir. I'm here to do a little bragging tonight.
Oh,
and
there you
I
go.
don't get to do that too often.
Okay.
I know you know, and I know Ken knows, the town manager, that the captain has to meet with me weekly to go over all the crime that happened the previous week and what he's doing to address that. I'm here to brag a little bit about Rodney, because he won't brag on himself, and especially Sergeant Gelati. You may not know this, but I've been a major for 10 years, and I've had you guys as part of under my umbrella for 9 of those 10 years. And at no time in my 10 years have I had anybody in the North Region outside of Palm Beach Shores, which was our newest merge, the beachside community, have 0 increases in any of their crime categories. We have a sort of an informal crime cup between all of my districts. Well, I'm going to let you know, these 2 gentlemen, under their leadership, you guys were not up in a single crime category, not one.
That's a blessing.
That is unheard of statistically. When I say that, let me put a little preface on it. We tracked 14. We tracked them all, but they're accountable to 14. And out of those 14 crime categories, you guys are not, you're down in every single one, or you have no crime in some of those categories. And that's due to the leadership of that captain and that sergeant right there. And
Thank you, Sergeant.
and what they're doing with the patrolmen out on the street, their crime initiatives, and just being there when things happen. Thank you for approving the LPRs. That's a great tool for us for both in progress and investigations on the back end. So thank you for that. That'll help keep those stats down. But right now, you guys are not up in a single crime category. I've never seen that in my 10 years. So I just wanted to brag on them for a little bit. So let you guys know you're doing fantastic as far as your crime rate.
Well, thanks. We certainly appreciate it. And I say with all due sincerity, thank you so much for your leadership and all that you do for the town. We really appreciated it. And it's only because of not only because, but in part because of the tutelage that they have in supervision on your part, and we thank you for
Well,
that.
they're winning the crime cup, so.
Oh, great, great.
We're on month 9. We're on a calendar year on our crime stats, not a fiscal year. We're already in month 9. To be there,
Wow.
the summer's our big spike.
Right,
So if
right.
you can make it through the summer, you're great. And if you can make it through November to January during the holidays, because you see a spike there.
Wow.
But I don't see that happen with these 2 gentlemen at the helm here, because, I mean, 0, I have to look at that every week. And I'm like,
Okay.
0. And you've been that way for a few weeks now. You know, you'll go up, 1 down, up, 1 down. But to be 0 at month 9, unheard of.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate it. And I did say, and please don't arrest me for saying this, but I did say if either one of them ever decided to leave, we were going to duct tape them to the room in there. And we'll feed them and we'll take care of them.
I have 15 more months, and they can't leave for 15 months.
Okay, then I'll save the duct tape. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
the mayor did steal my thunder, but I was asking for 10 more years with them in place.
Well, I'll give them 10. I'll spot them 10 for you.
Stuck with us for 10 years.
We'll certainly understand.
Thank you for
Now,
this.
couldn't be prouder of these 2 gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We
As
really-
are we.
We are too.
Certainly. And thanks so much, Major. We really
all
appreciate it.
Thank you for your
Oh, thanks.
service.
Okay. Writing- And so for anyone writing articles about Mangonia Park and its safety, just please come and listen to what the real facts. So we put that on the record.
Captain Thomas just completed 34 years of service to the team.
All right, that's right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. All righty. So 3 more years and you catch me at 37, so. Or 38 almost. Okay, and thanks so much. Really, really appreciate you guys. Okay. So with that, Amelia, I don't know that you can top that. but-
Certainly, sir, I cannot top that, so no report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, thanks so much. So at this time, we'll come to the dais and see if there's any council comments. Councilwoman Davis, you have anything?
No.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Councilwoman Webb?
Just want to say thank you.
Okay, thanks. McConnell?
Just thank you for all the work you do.
Okay, all righty. And for Vice Mayor?
I echo thanks. And I also want to thank our senior program, now that even we have our Parks and Rec director back in place. But the program continued without any major flaws in absence. So I'm thankful for the staff that pitched in to make sure everything kept going, flowing smoothly. And I know the officers were there to watch over our seniors in many of the events. And we're just thankful that we can keep doing quality work for our residents in our community.
I will say thank you to our town manager for a job well done. Thank you, guys. We do appreciate you for your service. Thank you, man. Thanks, everyone, because it takes a team to make this work. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. As I used to share all the time with staff, the greatest test of administration is how people perform when you're not around. And I think Major, as well as the captain, can attest to that. No envy. If you perform better when I'm not around, please perform better when I'm not around, and that happens. So we thank you. Thank you for that. So, okay. So with that, if there's no other questions or comments,
So moved.
a motion has been made for adjournment. Is there a
We
second?
left the clerk out. Thank you, clerk, for your hard work
Yes, for
also.
staff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I said
Councilwoman?
staff, but I didn't want to leave her out.
We got to finish the motion.
She's so ready to go. She done jumped up.
Okay. I'm sorry, we haven't finished the motion. I'm sorry. So the motion has been made for adjournment. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign. It is carried. Thanks so much.
So
Okay.
our next council meeting is on,
2 weeks from
September
today.
17th,
September 17th and
and
18th.
September 19th.
okay,
The 19th is the housing.
for,
Oh, the housing fair?
Don't forget.
oh yeah, it's really good. Residents,
Different banks there.
not just banks, but different
Realtors? and
County
people who want to
housing.
come and
city house, county housing, and federal programs.
Oh, I forgot to ask about our texting. We got to get people to sign up so we can get that information out there. Texting.
we need you here.
Yeah, the last one, they shared a lot of good
I
information,
tried to
particularly as it relates to housing assistance and so forth.
All right, thank you for coming.
Okay, alrighty,
It's 2
thanks.
days.
Alrighty.
I need to see you.
So we certainly want to get that information out. Let's get his phone number so we can text as well then.
Nice to see you all.
Oh, you too? Oh,
Alright.
thanks.
If I don't see you again, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, 36.
See? See, I like it.
I didn't see you.
That's my story, so.